Hello my friends, happy day to you. Today I am doing a full face of makeup, which is a video that I haven't done in a very long time. But this is a video that I've actually been wanting to do for a while. I picked up a few things during the Sephora sale, and then the other day when I created my little Lindsay Lohan makeup and I had used the Huda Beauty powder, I was like, you know what, there's no time like the present. Let's do it, let's dive in. Today I wanted to do a full face of Huda Beauty makeup products because there have been so many products that have been viral on the internet, mainly being the Easy Blur foundation. And I feel like I'm the last person on the internet to try this. And then I just thought it would be fun to try a few new things. There's been a few products that I've loved in the past. I've obviously had things like the Tantour cream bronzer and contour in my collection for such a long time. It's a beautiful product. I also really love so many products from their Glowish line that have sadly seemingly been discontinued. And then I picked up a few other fun little pieces that I just thought it would be fun to play. Let's do a little makeup look, a full face of Huda Beauty. I haven't done one in such a long time, and I thought there's no time like the present during Landmas to do so. So my friends, let's dive in and do a full face of Huda Beauty. So obviously to start, I had to try the Easy Blur primer and the foundation. Now, based on the videos that are posted on the Huda Beauty TikTok, everybody is obsessed with this. Everybody raved about it. It kind of like had a super viral moment, and then I really haven't seen much about it since, which always leads me to question what's going on, so I simply had to test it for myself. Now, if you guys recall, I don't use a lot of primers these days, especially when it comes to the hydrating primer, because I just don't feel like I need it on top of my moisturizer, but I'm always down for a glowy primer if I feel like I'm lacking the life, lacking the glow, and then I'm also down for a good blurring primer. I used the Shiseido one that was recommended by Nikki Makeup. It's one of her favorite products. I used that on my wedding day, and it's like one of the best makeup days I ever had, and everyone was raving about this. Sorry, I didn't show you that at all, but what a fun little texture that is. It kind of feels like a silicone-y, serum-y goop. It also really feels cooling. It's so cooling on my fingers, but I have really intense enlarged pores around my nose here, on my nose, and underneath my eyes right here. So using a primer in this area, wow, you can see my face gets so red whenever I put something on. And then on my chin, and I'll just use a little bit on my forehead as well. Those areas are very porous for me, so I'm always happy to do a little bit of pore tackling in those specific areas. So I'll just press that in and give it a minute to sit. It feels so good. It feels so cooling. Wasn't expecting that feeling. Made in South Korea, cool. And it is a silicone-free primer, which is so interesting because it still has that same feeling, but love to see it. It does have an immediate blurring effect on my skin, so I guess I'm actually, I should have done that on half. It would have been cool to see what the difference was with and without the primer, but I just thought we're gonna do a full face, let's just go in. So let's use the foundation. I got this in the shade Angel Food 110 Neutral. This has 1.5% niacinamide is all that's written on the back. So hydrating, great. Ooh, that's very light, very, very light indeed. Let's take this for a whirl, shall we? I'm going to apply one side with my brush so we can just compare and see how it looks. So that's one half of my face with the foundation applied and then without. So you can see it's pretty, that's pretty crazy. It's pretty blurring. I have a little bit of product breakup just right here, which is interesting because that's where I applied the primer, but this is also like right here and then here on my chin and just around my mouth are where I have my most dry spots. And you know, I try not to be too harsh whenever I'm testing foundations because I do have drier skin than the average person. Even when some people are like, oh, I have dry skin. I'm like, yeah, there's dry skin and then there's very, very dry skin. So sometimes if I wait a little bit, let it settle in, it'll chill out, or I can use like a setting spray to give it its moment. But sometimes things are like very, very dry and my face instantly sucks up, and that's when I just know it's way too matte for me. But this is just, it's a little bit, just a little bit dry, but we have great coverage from that, great blurring, and very easy to blend in. Sorry, I was just distracted by two gray hairs. Oh my God. I'm not opposed to the silver fox life, but sorry, it's a little bit jarring sometimes when one just pops out. Jump scare, surprises you. Yeah, looks great so far. I'm gonna apply the other side. I also only used a very tiny amount, so love to see that a little bit goes a long way. I'm gonna take a little bit of my beauty sponge and just see if I can help push any product into this area on my face, because it is just being a little bit rude. But it otherwise does look great. I don't love a very matte foundation. This one's quite matte. And even on my hand, it's really drying down to a very, very matte finish. I think there's some foundations that are more on the matte side that have a little bit more of a glow that I prefer. But for how nice and light the finish is on my skin, I'm surprised at how much coverage we got there. It's definitely blurring, definitely lots of coverage. Very impressed by that so far. Let's go in with the Tantour. I want to add a little bit of dimension back to my face, just because we did get so much coverage. I feel like I've lost all soul. So I'm going to take the Tantour, which is a product that I love, and it's actually quite old in my collection. I've made quite a dent in this, but again, a little bit goes a long way. I'm removing the excess product on the palm of my hand, and I haven't used this in a minute. And I kind of forgot just how pigmented it was, but also it's very, very warm. This is the shade Fair. This is the shade Fair, and it's very warm on my skin. So I'm gonna have to put in some elbow grease to blend this out right now. One thing you can do if you are using a brush is you can always just take your foundation brush after and just pat it on. You're not necessarily doing underpainting. I'm not adding any more product, but you kind of just go over between your two brushes and just push it in, and it helps to soften any lines that you might have just created a little bit. Yeah, definitely didn't need a lot of that at all, but she's beautiful nonetheless. Now to go along with that, I picked up the Faux Filter Concealer. I got this one in the shade Marshmallow. I was honestly a little bit nervous. I thought that was gonna be a lot thicker, but it actually has quite a nice thin feeling consistency. So I'm just gonna use it a little bit. We have such good coverage on the skin already, so I'm just kind of gonna use this to brighten up the center of the face, which I always love to do regardless. And then I'll just add a little bit more coverage around my mouth, because that's just always, it's my problem area. And I'm going to use my same method, my same favorite beloved Morphe brush to blend this in, because I feel like if you're testing products, you want to give it the same treatment that you would give all of your other products. So testing it against what we know and love. I feel like this is drying down quite fast, so I'm going to try and be quick with it. Ooh. Now the shade matches are really nice. I think I'm just still a little bit jarred by just how pale that I am. And so whenever something matches me, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's great. We are super, super light. And it just looks so stark next to the redness in my eyeballs, and I just feel a little bit scared of myself. So I blended that all in with the brush, and I'm just going over with the Beauty Blender just to kind of soak in any excess product. And honestly, it's looking totally flawless and so, so good. Like flawless. Flawless, flawless, flawless. And while we're here, I'm gonna set this in. Like my skin looks perfected. It's kind of crazy. It's gonna all come together for sure once we put some color back into our face, but very impressed with that base. Now I am gonna put a little lip liner on, and I don't know what happened because I thought I had a Huda Beauty lip liner and I have no idea where it went. So I am so sorry. I'm just gonna use this little Tower 28 Work of Art lip pencil. Again, so sorry. The rest of the products are Huda Beauty. But I just need a little color and definition on my lips because I'm feeling a little naked without it. So I know that I've placed myself into a general palette buying ban, okay, and every once in a while I step outside of that, especially for reviewing purposes, but I was very interested because there have been many Huda Beauty palettes that I have seen, used, and loved in the past, and I saw a video on TikTok of her saying that this was the last large palette that they were ever going to come out with, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a big statement. I wonder why, tell me more. But I did see this Icy Nudes palette, and I loved all of the cool tone shades. I'm sorry, lots of heavy mirror part of me. Loved all the cool tone shades in here. It looks beautiful, looks right up my alley. I love to see these grays, and I was like, ooh, I do want to play more in this life. And the glitters also looked so beautiful as well. Now, oh, there we go. Sorry, the neighbors are leaf blowing again. I am so sorry if you can hear that in the background. I'm gonna try and just speak over this, but they will most likely be there for a while, and they are multiple days per week. I'm gonna go in with the shade Cold Plunge and use this to just set the inner half of my eyeballs. Then we're gonna go in with Oneself, a true gray. Whoa, who are we? We're switching over to voiceover while the leaf blowing persisted. Now I just took that beautiful gray shade and took that all over the outer edge and into the crease. And then I kind of just layered up some of the deeper shades. I took this beautiful little gray taupey pink and put that in the middle. And then I went in with a darker gray and put that on the outer corners and was just blending this out as I went. And then I went in with one of the shimmers. And you guys, this was so beautiful. I got so many questions on yesterday's vlog about what I was wearing at the end of the video. This is the shimmer. What a gorgeous, gorgeous silver. I put that all over the center of of the lid, and then I just took the deepest shade to add a little bit of definition to the lash line. And those were the eyes. Okay, bless. It would appear as though they've taken a break again. Now the eyeshadow is done, kind of. I feel like it's a little bit uneven. This is a little bit Insta-glam for me, but I kind of like it. I love the colors. I would love to like learn how to use these more, play with it a little bit more. I do feel like now the lip is a little bit too warm. It is throwing me off. I'm gonna have to remove this, sorry. It's gotta go. Looks crazy, but even that, in my mind, looks a little bit better. Okay, let's apply some mascara. This is the One Coat Wow Extra Volumizing and Lifting Mascara. I bought the mini of this. I didn't consider that the mini mascara would also have such a tiny little handle on the wand. How am I meant to wiggle in here? It's a very lifting mascara. My eyes are like, the mascara is intense, but I feel like it just made my eyes sparkle a little bit. Okay, now I feel like I haven't messed anything up too badly with the eyes, so I can go ahead and set in with a powder. This is the Cherry Blossom Cake powder, and I'm gonna use this with a powder puff, and we're gonna set it all in. Dun, dun, dun. I'm gonna go to the grocery store later and no one's gonna recognize me. They're gonna be like, who is this fabulous caked up lady? Cherry blossom cake, that is. I always underestimate the power of a powder and what that can do for just giving a flawless finish. It's kind of crazy, but let's go bring some life back into our face, shall we? This is the Huda Beauty Cotton Candy Blush Filter. Oh, it does smell sweet. Honestly, not a lot is coming off. I feel like we could just go straight onto the face with this, and it could be light-handed enough. I'm doing this liquid blush on top of the powder, just so we can bring a little bit of life back to the face. Add a little bit of creamy glow on top of the powder. Oh, I totally lied. That is very pigmented. I feel like I went too heavy with that. Ugh. It's just a little bit too warm pink. I'm just gonna take my Pearl Cream highlighter and put that on top and just try to hide some of the pink. Distract it with light. Yeah, I don't like that color. Sorry. It's also not as juicy and wet as some of the liquid blushes that I use and love. But maybe that's to go with the more matte finish, and that's okay. Now for the lip, I'm gonna use a cool toned lip liner, whatever cool toned lip liner that you prefer, perhaps one that isn't so tragically, rudely discontinued. That just happens to be the most perfect shade of all time. But literally. And then I picked up this faux filler gloss in the shade She Flirty, which looks like, actually, it kind of looks like it goes very, very well with this lovely blush. I loved the visuals that they posted of this. They made some really fun videos of this pouring all over the bottle, and it looked really intense. It feels very thick, very goopy indeed. You don't need a lot of that at all. And it's got a little shimmer running through it, so it's gonna give you a nice shine. It's a little bit too thick for me, honestly. It's like way more thick in feeling than the Bobbi Brown Serum Gloss, which is just, yeah, she thick. Let's do one final spritz. Am I throwing you off with my gold jewelry? Should I put silver jewelry on instead? Would that be better for this look? And with that, my friends, that's the finished makeup. I'm gonna zoom you in real nice and close so you can see the base. It is truly a flawless. Oh, and there's a hair there. How nice. We zoomed right in on that. The base is certainly filtered, very flawless and nice and light. It is just a little bit dry for me. It's a little bit dry. I'm experiencing a little bit of dryness around my mouth, so I feel like that's something that could definitely cake up and get a little flaky throughout the day. But also the highlight on top of this like very mattified base is so nice. It's popping in all the right places. Was really happy with this palette, actually. I'm excited about the colors in here. I think it's really nice for those icy, wintry looks. I'm curious to hear from you guys if you've tried the Easy Blur base products. What are your thoughts? Usually something that is a little bit more matte I reserve for those more going out special event occasions, which is nice if you want to have that mattified, really blurred look. It's a good option to have when you need to be a little bit more fancy and you want to have that more long-lasting makeup. So maybe when the weather's a little bit warmer outside of the winter, when my skin's a little bit less dry, it could be a good option for me, but loving how it looks so far. And it has an excellent shade match for my lighter skin. Sorry, my hair was being a little bit weird there. I don't really know what I'm trying to go for right now. But anyway, my friends, that is my full face of Huda Beauty. A very, very flawless look to have going into the winter and trying some new products here. Would love to hear your thoughts. Please let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the look, what your thoughts are on some of these products. And if you want me to do any other full faces of makeup, please comment down below. I'm happy to toss one in once in a while. And it's fun to try some brands and see all of the offerings that they have to offer and how they perform, especially when they go viral and everyone's talking about it on the internet. We gotta put in our 2 cents. So thanks so much for getting ready with me today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and the look, and I will see you all tomorrow for a new Landmas video. Bye!